easier it is to sell souls.
There is a new price on freedom, so buy into it while supplies last. Changes need to be made. No more curbside baggage. 7 p.m. curfew. Racial profiling will continue with less bitching. We've unified over who to kill, so until I find more relevant scripture to quote, remember, our God is bigger, stronger, smarter, and much wealthier. So wave those flags with pride, especially the white part.
We're selling addictive 24-hour candlelight vigils in TVs. Freedom will be defended at the cost of civil liberties. The viewers are glued to television screens, stuck, cause lots of things seem too sick. I use opportunities to pluck heartstrings for theme music. I show you which culture to pump your...
Welcome to the Grift on the River Now.
I'm Gonzo.
It has been a week. Oh my God, it's been a fucking week.
Yeah, we kind of went full fash.
Yeah.
Kind of went a little bit, tiny bit full fash.
Just a smidgen. As we were talking about last week, there was the threats and calls from the president to
I can't remember.
federalize D.C.
Had Big Balls gotten his ass beat
Yes.
already? Okay.
So late last week, he'd gotten his ass beat right before recording, and it was starting to be talked about. So we brought it up on the episode.
Yeah.
Like they was threatening it, and it was stupid. Now some more details about it have come out. It wasn't 8 teenagers, as they claimed. It was 2.
It was 2.
One was a girl. It was 3 a.m. in a weird part of town that apparently is known for its solicitation. And there's a lot of speculation based on inconsistencies in the report and the time of day and who it was that was arrested, that he may have been soliciting a minor.
Here's what I love. I love the idea that Big Balls can't even buy sex.
Right?
Like, he tried to buy sex and got his ass beat by 2 teenagers instead.
Yeah, that seems like it may be the case, that he was attempting to solicit a minor.
Could not have happened to a more worthy individual.
Now, again, that's alleged, that's speculation as of right now, but
it's true in my heart.
it's true in my heart.
It's true in my heart.
I feel like this matches the reality that I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of realities that I know, Ghislaine Maxwell has been released, or has been approved
she's
for work release.
Essentially not in prison.
Yeah, she
has been all but released from prison. She's gotten basically the same deal that Epstein got in 2008, where he just had to sleep at the jail.
Yeah, so she's been moved to Club Fed.
So she gets to do work release every day, which don't forget that her job was sex trafficking children.
The only career she ever had, other than a brief stint in modeling, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
was sex trafficking.
Possibly some work for Mossad. We don't know.
Right.
She might have taken in her father's footsteps and done some light espionage.
Yeah. Also, Melania Trump is threatening to sue Hunter Biden and Channel 5.
Okay.
For $1 billion.
Cool.
Because Hunter, in his interview with Channel 5, he went and did that thing,
Which was great.
which is great, brought up that
If ever there were a Biden that should have been president.
I will stand Hunter Biden forever. Fuck, that guy is.
Because you know what?
I envy.
I came out of the interview realizing that the only thing he loves more than crack cocaine is America.
Right?
And my God, I have never seen anybody more wistfully talk about a substance than him talking about crack cocaine. I'm not going to tell you how to make crack cocaine. Okay, here's how you make crack cocaine.
It's great. I mean,
you got to get some sodium bicarb and you got to mix it. You got to heat it up so it crystallizes.
but despite being this former insider Nepo baby, right, whose dad was the president, and he went and did the whole fucking the coming up tour through his life, right?
Yeah.
The right schools, the right careers, right? Did all of that, which was building for a career in politics.
Right.
Yeah, and then he threw it all away to do drugs, but now he's weirdly down to earth and real and raw in this
and
fascinating way.
He's endearing in a weird way.
Yeah, and critical of the party establishment, including
and he doesn't pretend he wasn't a fuck up.
yeah,
He's just open and on. I fucked up a lot.
critical of some of his father's like biggest supporters, and like it seemed
Like
like
aggressively critical of some of them.
it seemed like he's even leaning in the direction of maybe my dad shouldn't have stuck around as long as he did
Yeah.
in the race. Like
Yeah,
I cannot imagine. Like I didn't expect to be as blown away by like how interesting he was. Like, but I mean, the man smoked crack with Marion Barry.
Yeah.
I
Not many people, I mean, a lot of people have done that, but not many people you can name have done that.
Right. Lots of like no named hookers and crack addicts in DC have done that. Nobody you can name. Nobody that was a
Because Rob Ford just wishes he was Marion Barry.
right. And Rob Ford is no Hunter Biden. That's what I got about that. You know, because Rob Ford was a culture warrior and a tough on crime guy on top of being a crack addict, right? Hunter Biden, on the other hand, is not. He is not a hypocrite about it. And in his 50s, the man can get it, too.
Yeah.
He looks fucking good.
Yeah, no, he's a...
Jealous.
I think he's going to be okay.
Right.
I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to do okay. But he also, like... like within days of his father becoming a senator for the first time, he was in a car accident that gave him a traumatic brain injury, killed his sister and his mother.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's how he started life. He was like what, 4?
And launched into the limelight of major U.S. politics all at the same time.
Because
Right.
it's and I remember like growing up where I did in the Delmarva Peninsula, like. I have been aware of Joe Biden my entire life.
And that family
And his
has
family
lots
my
of tragedy.
entire life.
A lot of tragedy in that family when you think about
Like
it.
I remember like in the Wilmington News Journal, you would read stories about Hunter and Bo like when I was in high school. I knew who they were. Like I knew that they were his children anyway. I knew who they were.
Bo Biden dying of brain cancer.
Fucking military hero dies of brain cancer.
Yeah. And by all intents and purposes, for all that we know, his son had a stellar military career. You know?
I probably would have just started smoking a lot of crack too.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so apparently Melania is suing because Hunter talked a lot about Epstein and how a Epstein biographer wrote about in detail how Melania first met Trump through Epstein.
There is more than circumstantial evidence that she was literally sex trafficked into the U.S.
Yeah, and now I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Although a $1 billion lawsuit from Melania would probably be good for viewership.
Oh yeah, no.
So,
I mean, I'm saying that it looks like that's possible. Absolutely. I'm saying that how did Melania get into the U.S., lie on her visa, work illegally, and then fuck Donald Trump for the first time in Epstein's presence? Like,
yeah,
according to an Epstein biographer. That is not according to me.
yeah. That's not even according to Hunter Biden.
No. Hunter Biden was quoting.
He was quoting a story like,
and
fucking bring it. What a dumb lawsuit.
And honestly, I believe it. I
could totally believe it.
I wouldn't.
I mean,
be surprised.
I mean, that's the thing that it's easy to forget that in the 90s, that sort of behavior was just legal.
Right.
Like there were multiple modeling agencies in New York that existed solely to bring Eastern European women to the U.S. to basically sell them to wealthy Americans.
Yeah, and mail order bride bullshit, like at a premium.
They were pretending it wasn't mail order bride bullshit, but it was mail order bride bullshit. Right. I actually knew a guy who was in the process when I left Maryland. He was in the process of ordering a mail order bride from Belarus.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked out.
I mean,
he had more money than sense.
That's probably how it worked out.
She was a very pretty young girl, but he was my age now then. And she was less than my age then.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She was 19. He was like 48.
Which, you know.
And he was buying her, but he was buying her from Belarus.
Hey, maybe they had a happy marriage. You don't know. I don't know.
Also, I'd be surprised if he didn't have a massive cardiac event within 5 years of the last time I saw him. So he's almost definitely dead now. I wish I could remember his name. I would actually try to fucking stalk him online. I'd make our associate who can do those things do it for me.
Right. But so Melania's suing over that. That's wild.
That's fun. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I just caught that today. Hunter was she also demanded an apology from Hunter Biden. His response was not gonna fucking happen.
I love that man.
That was his direct response. Not gonna fucking happen.
I sometimes you get the hero you deserve, not the hero you want in this world, and he might be who we deserve.
For sure. All right, some other bullshit in the news. We got the Trump-Putin summit happening on Ukraine that is excluded Ukraine.
I have heard that part of this is going to be us just giving a lot of mineral rights to Russia in Alaska.
And it seems like Putin wants to offer personal financial incentives to Donald Trump. That seems to be a part of the strategy here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and of course, they're excluding Ukraine.
Really, who cares? What do they have to do with their own invasion?
We are not in a legal position to just give territory of Ukraine to Russia.
No, I think Europe might have something to say about that if we try.
Right. And the Ukrainians are not going to, I've looked at the polling in Ukraine, right? 70% of them are deathly opposed to, it's 65 to 70% are absolutely uncategorically opposed to giving up territory, right?
Even a lot of the ethnic Russians.
Yeah.
Are no, what are you fucking talking about? No.
And it's still a solid majority if it's only a tiny amount of territory and only if there are strong security guarantees. In the most perfect, they give up Crimea, but the U.S. puts a military base in Ukraine, right? Guarantees. It's still doesn't even have majority support in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Right?
It wouldn't have... That sort of deal would never have majority support in any country anywhere in the world.
Right.
That's not how... I have my issues with borders and countries and nation states. But...
This isn't how we resolve them.
Nobody wants their own country to be cannibalized by a neighbor.
Right.
Nobody.
And this isn't a situation where all those ethnic Russians really wanted to be Russian, right?
Right.
That is a gross misunderstanding of the situation. The vast majority, again, 60+% for the most part, before Russia did their whole invasion, fake separatist movement, civil war that they created, right? Before that, the vast majority of them did not want to join. They did not want to join Russia, right? And then they had to rig polls afterwards at gunpoint. And even then,
they couldn't.
They couldn't actually make it look like they had a true majority support. So,
and this is one of those hindsight being 2020 type deals, but Obama should have probably been a lot harder on Russia when they annexed Crimea in 2014.
Absolutely.
I understand why he wasn't at the time.
Right.
I get that. I totally understand it.
Yeah.
But looking back, I'm sure he would agree.
Yes.
I'm sure he would agree.
I mean, to be honest,
I'll speak for the former president. He would agree.
One of my more quote unquote hawkish positions, right, would have been that when the buildup was happening under Biden, and it was obvious Russia was going to invade, and they were lying their asses off.
Because we knew about it for 6 weeks leading up to it that it was going to happen.
Right.
To the point where we knew what weekend it was going to happen.
Yes. 6 weeks earlier, we knew when it was going to happen. And I would have, if I were Biden, because we were still ostensibly a Ukrainian ally, we were offering them financial and military support with their civil war, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Which isn't really a civil war. When we were doing that, I would have sent 1,000 U.S. training troops, right? And some assets, some logistics assets, just for training and logistics support into the territories where it would have been most likely for Russia to invade.
Just so they have to avoid our stuff.
Right.
And the last thing they would want to do is put themselves in a position where they were attacking U.S. military assets.
Exactly. And what you do is you don't put those assets directly into the conflict. Like, you avoid that because we're not doing that, right? Sure.
Especially if there's not a conflict yet.
Right. But I mean, the breakaway, the quote-unquote civil war, right? You do it in such a way that they're not directly engaging in that, but they are training and supporting the troops that are directly engaging in that, okay? And that would have been a 1,000-man buffer between Russia and Ukraine, because if Putin had done something, had actually done this invasion, it would have been about a 50% chance that he had shot U.S. assets. Right.
Yeah, and I if we could have avoided this invasion, I don't think we're stuck with a Trump presidency now.
No, I don't think so. Again, it's one of those little domino pieces. Like, you take one out and your odds of the one domino hitting the next one drop. Right. I think our dominoes are a bit spaced out or are tight, so there's a chance that you take one out and something still snowballs. But the Ukrainian invasion was a major piece. Inflation that the president couldn't control and people's misunderstanding of how economics work. Another one.
Because I've been arguing with MAGA a lot on TikTok, more than normal.
Why
in the
are you
last
doing
couple
that to
of
yourself?
days. They come to me.
Yeah, but what? I mean,
they come to me.
Give them a heart react and thank them for the engagement.
Well, I don't argue back. They just keep arguing with me.
Okay.
Like over and over and over again.
I mean, the engagement is good for you. So.
But one thing I've come to realize is that one of two things is necessarily true about anybody who is part of the MAGA movement. Either they are willfully refusing to understand inconvenient things. Because I have watched all of these topics explained to them in a way that any given 5-year-old could understand. Right?
Right.
Inflation, the economy, a fucking foreign policy. I've watched these topics, these complex topics, dumbed down to like as monosyllabic and simplistic as you could possibly get.
Right.
To points where I know I would have understood it as a child.
Yes.
Like simple things, like really breaking it down to its core elements. So either they are refusing to understand that stuff knowingly, or they are dumber than children who are too young to have learned how to tie their own shoes yet.
I think it's probably both, and I think that Americans, one thing that is true for people in general, because this, again, the inflation leading to anti-incumbency was a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
Right?
The inflation was substantially worse everywhere else, though.
Yes, but still, Americans like price stability and blah, blah, blah.
They also,
like...
They will also just go solely on the price of gas.
Okay. Yeah, and hear me out, though. Like, Latina voters, for instance, right? It was like... a lot of Latino women shifted over, right? It's because they do the shopping at the grocery stores.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all they saw. Like, they didn't know or believe or hear all the stuff that Trump was saying about immigrants. And, he had a presidency already and they didn't get rounded up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that counts as, I hate to say it, but sometimes when people are being a little like over the top about what's going to happen next, rather than focusing on the thing that's happening now, it makes it sound, like it's a little hyperbolic, right?
Right.
And so when you say that, Donald Trump hates Mexicans, like
he doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't have an opinion.
Yeah. Like
rounding them up is a useful political tool for him.
Yeah. I think that he just hates immigration in general. Like, I think he's a nativist by nature.
He knows his base.
Yes.
Is anti-immigration.
But when you, as a quote unquote anchor baby American citizen, Mexican American, right? Didn't get rounded up and deported the first time, right? Like, you don't think of him as a threat to you, right? He didn't threaten Mexican Americans in Texas, right? And so they voted based on the economy. It's the economy, stupid. But it was dumb. They were wrong, but they don't. The average American has a hard time naming the branches of government. Like,
they don't know shit about fuck.
Like, think about it this way. The least informed people that we know personally that chat with us about politics, right, and hear us out, are twice as engaged and informed as the American electorate on average.
Yes. I remember the old George, I think it was George Carlin, the old George Carlin line about, think about how dumb the average American is.
Yeah.
And then realize that 50% of the population is dumber than them.
Yep. That 50% of the population is dumber than the average guy you know.
And we have
You have to deal with that.
and this has been true since day one of this republic.
Mm-hmm.
We have valued anti-intellectualism.
To
We
a
have
degree.
aggressively. It's gotten worse in recent years.
Yes,
but
by
we
a
have
lot.
we have always like had a disdain for like expertise.
We've had an anti-elite folksyism
Yeah.
that like
And it-
has always played politically.
That's always been true in the culture, but it was always something that was paid lip service in government but ignored.
right. And
The government's not ignoring the lip service.
Yeah,
It's
and-
not just lip service coming from government anymore.
And voters used to actually still make the call. Well, yeah, no, I don't like those, those elites telling me what to do. But I mean, this guy knows what he's doing, so yeah, I'll vote for him, right? Like that. We had that. We've lost it, right? We have a epistemological fucking crisis in this country.
What blows me away is like, you go back 15 years ago to when Just The Apprentice was on TV.
Okay.
Literally everyone understood that he was a failed businessman.
For the most part,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
your average dumb fuck like saw him on TV and it's like, look at that, he's got to be like shilling on TV now because that's all he's got left because he failed. Like we watched him bankrupt casinos.
yeah. Here, yes and no. My no to that is that the people I knew who watched The Apprentice like regularly, like I only watched clips to watch the funny parts.
I never
Right.
watched any of it.
Like, that's it. I only watched the clips that were funny, right? Because I didn't care about the show. I knew he was a shitty fucking businessman. I didn't like his politics fucking in 1995, let alone today. Right?
Yeah, like even when he was like going around calling himself a Democrat, I hated him as a kid.
Yeah.
Like a little kid.
But
I saw him on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
the
and
people
I hated
I
him.
know who watched The Apprentice regularly thought he was not a failed businessman. They thought he was actually successful. They genuinely believed it. And it was the second highest rated show on television at its time.
For a while there, yeah.
Yeah. So,
That whole
so millions of people every week
That
thought he
whole-
was a success.
that whole decade of nothing but TV being reality TV was a mistake.
Yeah, it was. A misalignment of what people's perception of reality
again,
is.
It happened because Hollywood couldn't avoid a writer's strike that they should have just negotiated their way out of before it happened.
Yeah, and it killed a bunch of great shows. Like,
I remember the '86 writer's strike killed a bunch of great shows.
Yeah.
I used to love the show Moonlighting.
Oh,
like
Moonlighting
the
was
first two
great.
seasons. Third season's unwatchable
yeah, it is.
because the third season was written by Scabs.
And Moonlighting, of course, gave us Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, it was great.
It's funny. I remember, this is wild random aside. I am just old enough to remember like the discourse in like entertainment news when Die Hard was about to come out, and everybody was like, "Can the guy from Moonlighting carry an action film? I don't know if he's ready for this."
And he went on to become the biggest action star of his generation for a while.
Easily. Like he supplanted. I mean, there was no one else at his level when he did that. Like,
Yeah.
because by the time he really blew up, Stallone was already dwindling.
Right.
Schwarzenegger was moving on to comedies
Yeah.
and more interesting roles. Van Damme was always just niche.
Right. And everybody loved Van Damme movies, but,
But like
they were niche.
they were martial arts movies, not
Right.
action movies. Same with Seagal. Like he made martial arts movies.
Yeah,
not
Seagal had
action movies.
Seagal had a few that were like big breakout action movies. Like
I still love those first 4 movies of his.
Yeah.
They suck,
They're-
but I
yeah.
love them.
but yeah, so Bruce Willis, that a writer's strike somehow like killed a show he was on, and that gave us him as a fucking major action star. It's wild.
In a film that was originally written for Frank Sinatra.
Die Hard?
Die Hard.
No.
Because the novel it was based on, here's what happened.
You're fucking with
No,
me.
no.
Okay.
Die Hard was based on a novel. The novel was a sequel to another novel
Okay.
that was turned into a film that had starred Frank Sinatra.
What film?
I can't remember. But because of that, any sequels that were made based on that character, he had first right of refusal on the role.
So
in like
Frank Sinatra?
1986, they went to like a 65-year-old Frank Sinatra and had to. They were legally obligated to offer him the role of John McClane.
All right.
In fucking Die Hard, because
So in the multiverse.
so the only reason we got Bruce Willis in that movie is because Frank Sinatra had the sense to be like, I'm a fucking old man. What do you want me to do?
So in the multiverse,
I got chicks to bang.
there is a Frank Sinatra Die Hard.
Look at all this glass in my fucking feet.
Like,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
They did heavily rewrite it when he dropped out, but because it was based on a novel that he was in, there was a sequel to a movie he was in.
this is why I want Rick and Morty style interdimensional television.
yeah.
Because I want I want to see what TV in other realities where things happen differently looks like. I want it so bad.
Like, I do kind of want to see a universe where Nick Nolte was Han Solo.
Yeah.
God damn it, Chewie.
What would television be? What would television be like in the Big Bird verse? Ooh.
The Big Bird verse. Like, just imagine, like, if Nick Nolte had been Han Solo and Tom Selleck had been Indiana Jones.
Everything. I cannot imagine
you know
this.
what? I'm not entirely sure Harrison Ford wouldn't have been happier to just keep selling everyone weed in Hollywood.
He would be a set carpenter selling weed up until about 1987.
And you know what? I bet he still would have married Callista Flockhart. He'd have fucking made that shit happen. He'd have been selling weed on the set of Ally McBeal, and she'd be like, "This old dude's hot,
Right.
and he has fucking the best weed in Hollywood."
That's, you're probably not wrong. That
Because
would
he
have
was
been.
still Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
He still had Harrison Ford charm and looks.
I mean, yeah. Like, look at him and talk to him. He's charming.
Yeah.
He's funny.
He's dry as fuck. He's funny, but he doesn't get credit for it because he's so sardonic and dry.
Yeah.
But he's funny as fuck.
And my God, does he have a smile?
Yeah.
He always had a smile. A great smile.
Lights up a goddamn room.
And that little dimple on his chin.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sexy man. I am straight as fuck, but Harrison Ford in like 1990,
also like-
he could get it.
Total random aside. He was 39 when they filmed Raiders.
Yeah. But look at him.
Look at him.
I'm envious. I mean, that's
39.
That skin. He had such great skin.
Yeah.
Jealous. All right, back to the news, because I can't keep fawning over how hot Harrison Ford was forever.
I think, all right, I guess the biggest news story of the week we have to get into is
DC?
de facto martial law in DC.
Yeah, de facto martial law in DC, which one of the topics that I want to bring up. So, DC, big balls happened.
Right.
The president sent, was it 1,000 National Guard troops in, or is it, he just sent the National Guard. I don't know how many
I
troops.
think it was 800 National Guard and like 1,000 FBI agents were reassigned to patrol the streets.
FBI and DEA agents have been reassigned to patrolling the streets. They're walking in circles in Georgetown, in the nicest, safest place. My DC friends and the people I have on Facebook are just mocking it because they're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, the dangers of like my unlimited mimosas running out.
Yeah.
Like they're walking around in the safest parts of DC. They're not even going into the hood.
No, and
Like-
they're doing. You're seeing like. Can you imagine being somebody who just went through like 4 years of training at Quantico, and you're like stopping teenagers from jumping the turnstiles in the fucking DC Metro?
No
now.
shit. And
like I would end myself.
And they're enforcing a curfew on teenagers.
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid. It's mostly just a dumb show of force. Trump has basically threatened to do the same to every city that didn't vote for him.
But he can't.
But he can't.
I mean, because that's the thing. DC is a special case.
Yeah, DC's a special...
He has theoretical authority in emergency situations to very briefly...
It really depends on, like, he's going to find creative ways to call national emergencies. Right?
But, like, let's think about the logistics.
Because he did it in L.A.
Let's think about the logistics of him, I don't know, trying to mobilize the Maryland National Guard against Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
I don't think... I don't actually think it has anything to do with working. I think it has everything to do with conditioning urban populations, okay, to accept and understand their place.
Right.
Okay?
Which they never should.
But that's what I think it is. It's going to be these temporary shows of force. I mean, L.A., that wasn't a long time, right? They wasted a few weekends, millions and millions of dollars pissed away. And it didn't do anything. It didn't stop anything. It didn't change anything.
They have been actively protesting 24 hours a day, every day since before the National Guard showed up.
You're right. But what has happened?
You're not hearing about it, but it's happening.
You're hearing about it. You're hearing about what happened in L.A. less because they showed up and the news just got quiet, which I think is part of the point, to make it look like he's being successful, right? But to top it off, just to condition L.A., right, to being used to, like, they'll send in federal troops if we don't behave, right? And getting people used to this authoritarianism.
Right.
Right.
But also, L.A. was also a failure because they didn't behave and the federal troops left.
Yeah. But I don't think it's about changing everybody's mind. I think it's just about scaring the middle and the moderates and like...
The problem is you're only going to be able to scare people who don't live in the cities.
Yeah. But
they're already terrified of the cities because they're fucking pussies.
But getting people used to this shit, like, if they want to clamp down again and again, it may draw less attention each time, right? And let's say protests ratchet up. Let's say he wants to steal an election next time, right?
He does.
Yeah, I know he does. But let's say he tries to, okay? And there's protests and there's action against it. Like, you can't run again. You're not. You've already been president twice, right? Like, and there's large protests in the streets. And he's already sent the National Guard to this city to quell protests 5 other times, right? Now he sends them again and they start shooting people. Like, but the population is going to be more conditioned to accept it. And usually when you send the National Guard into a city to quell protests, it makes the protests bigger. But will it on the 5th one?
If they start shooting people.
Maybe. I don't trust our I do not trust our population to actually be revolutionary. I do not. I cannot trust this population of Americans.
I don't think they would view it as a revolutionary act.
Our feckless, cowardly population and their fucking bizarre need for comfort uber alles, right, is absolutely, positively, hands down, the most easily subjugated population on the fucking planet. And there's no other nation that is as fucking rollover for tyranny as the average American.
The French did start setting cop cars on fire when they tried to take away their 34-hour work week.
The UK banned supporting a Palestinian org, right? They had to arrest 150 people the first day that was in effect.
Yeah.
Right? That's like they had to arrest 150 people for violating it the first day it was in effect, and the protests haven't stopped, right? It's 5 days in, the protests are twice the size. And that's in a country where they don't have the actual freedoms that we do enshrined in their law, quote unquote. Theoretically, right. Like, the average Londoner has as many freedoms and rights as you do, right? It's just they're not as enshrined in law as they are.
I will say, I think part of our complacency, ironically, stems from the way we have fetishized the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
I think that this idea that it's like, well, we can just overthrow tyranny has put us in a position where it's like we never will admit that it's happening when it is. Right. Because then we would have to overthrow it. If this were tyranny, we would have to overthrow it. So it can't be tyranny because we're not overthrowing it.
And more than any other population on Earth, except for our bastard child Israel, we are founded on mythologies.
Yes.
Like, and every country had their mythologies, but they died.
Now the administration is going to vet every single exhibit in the Smithsonian's to make sure they adhere to that mythology.
But we have more core mythologies to our founding and our history than anywhere else. I mean,
is fucking weird to be a small...
People believe in folk legends up until fucking 30 years ago.
It is fucking weird to, like, spend your entire childhood being taught stories about George Washington or Thomas Jefferson, and then, like, you read a book, and you're like, oh, that was a lie.
Yeah.
And it's dumb lies, like the fucking cherry tree.
Right.
Like, that is a nonsense lie.
And
to tell children.
Giving us the feel-good story of his wooden teeth.
Yeah.
When it was actually fucking slave teeth. And, like, fuck you. Like, they fed us some bullshit to hide
Well,
and to create a cognitive dissonance, because when you hear for the first time slave teeth, you still have rattling around your subconscious in your brain that thing you learned as a child, right?
Yeah.
And
Father, I cannot tell a lie.
Right. And so many people have a hard time changing their perception of how, like, from the thing that they originally learned, right, to something later. Like, so yeah, we get fed the fucking Father, I can't tell a lie and the fucking wooden teeth story, right? And you get fed the wooden teeth story. So the first time you hear about the slave teeth, you're like, no,
That can't be right.
that can't be right.
And then you actually see his, like, dentures.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, that's not wood.
Yeah, it's like some wood,
like,
some gold, and a bunch of slave
those are
teeth
definitely
like, packed together.
As you can, and then your first thought will be like, I don't know if they're slave teeth, but they're someone's teeth.
Right. So we have all these fucking mythologies that hold our population into this dumb, happy complacency. Even though, again, we're one of the most we're like the most miserable first world country in the world.
Conversely, is another thing when it comes to teaching history accurately. The way some people will lie about history to make it sound worse, and then you find out it's a lie.
Right.
So you start to distrust the bad things that you hear because you've already had this hyperbolic lie hoisted upon you. Like, like one of the things that I still keep hearing is the idea that there were plantations that existed solely just to breed people.
Oh, yeah, that's
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Stop telling the story.
I've never heard that story.
I've heard it a lot, and I'm hearing it more often now.
Okay.
But it's like
your algorithm needs less of the TikTok left because they don't have any pull
But
in our politics.
that is a story that, but it's like that didn't.
I know it didn't happen.
It's bad enough without making shit up.
No,
Stop it.
there were some horrific plantations. I mean, fuck, Angola State Prison,
It's
right?
still.
It was a horrific plantation.
It's not.
Candyland in fucking Django was based on a real plantation
Yeah.
where they did Mandingo fights.
Yeah,
Like
that shit happened.
that shit fucking happened.
It wasn't just a terrible movie from the 70s with James Mason. Have you ever seen that? You ever seen the movie Mandingo?
Yeah.
I
don't want to.
It's bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's I do not recommend. I often don't not recommend a movie. Don't watch that movie.
Yeah, there's lots of movies that are absolute trash you'd recommend
don't watch
watching
that
because you
movie.
enjoy such. Yeah.
It's uncomfortably bad in every possible way.
All the possible ways.
It's based on a novel.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So,
They turn a man into soup at the end.
but these mythologies hold us back. DC is now currently under this fucking quasi-martial law bullshit.
Right.
Which, gotta love a guy accidentally saying pussy comitatus instead of posse comitatus.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was great. Daily Show covered that one. That was fantastic. They were like, this very serious legal principle. Yes, of course I believe in pussy comitatus. What? Like, it was fantastic.
Who said that?
I don't know the guy's name. He was on, like, I think Fox or Newsmax.
I love the pussy comitatus.
Yeah, I just remember it was the blonde gal who does Daily Show too, right? She goes, the last time the pussy comitatus was called for was on your mom last night.
That's when you actually get the lady off, right? The pussy comitatus.
Pussy comitatus. All right, so
Pussy come and taught us a lot.
But yeah, it's technically illegal for the military to be doing police actions, but he's federalized. He's used federal troops. I don't know what this is going to do. I know that it's stupid. I know that DC's on a 30-year low in crime. I know that Mark Wayne Mullen is out here talking about how he doesn't drive it.
I can't buckle my seatbelt because I can't escape if they try to carjack me. Mark Wayne, no one wants whatever piece of shit you drive. Ever.
Mark Wayne is from a town in Oklahoma that I looked up.
Mm-hmm. How much higher is the per capita crime rate in his hometown than Washington D.C.?
Yeah, so he lives in where's the name of the town? Sorry, just give me a moment here. I got to remember this one. Westville. He lives in Westville, Oklahoma, with his wife.
Because I know how violent Oklahoma City is.
Yeah. So Westville...
It's fucking outrageously violent.
Westville, Oklahoma crime rate. Now, I'm just reading off the Google AI, so some of these could be wrong, but it's citing Nextdoor as one of its sources. Okay,
the little crime map that I enjoy looking at.
So, the national average for crime, overall crime, right, is 33.37 per 100,000.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's our national average. Okay,
Could be better, could be worse.
Yeah. But that's like a 30 year low.
I remember the 90s well enough to know that it's better.
Yeah, by like a third. Like a third. Right.
Yeah.
So
I remember when it was in triple digits.
Yeah. Westville, 83.73 overall crime rate.
So it's 2.5 times the violent crime rate.
Yeah. The national average's violent crime rate is like 20 something per 100,000, right? Violent crime rate in Westville is 56.2, right? Property crime is about 5% higher than the national average at 27.5%. Let's see, high rates of assault, 220.4 per 100,000 residents, 73.5 rapes per 100,000.
I've been to Oklahoma. That makes sense.
Yeah. 734.8 per 100,000 residents burglary. Theft is 1,689 per 100,000 residents for theft. Like, it only has 1,600 people, but it's like, it is a crime-ridden little hellhole.
So that's essentially my hometown.
Yeah.
We had the entire 26 years I lived in my hometown. Mm-hmm. There were 3 murders in 26 years.
Right.
Rapes didn't get reported. I don't even.
I mean, just think about those crime numbers. Like that. Your odds of being the victim of a crime in a town, like it's like a suburb, right?
And you know what? But here's the thing: everybody who lives in a small town fucking knows that.
Yeah,
because that's every fucking small town. Everybody knows that you've got you got 1,600 people in your small town. You've got a half dozen people that everyone avoids because they're dangerous. Everyone knows they're a threat. But
they talk about everything as if the town's a little safe and quiet and whatever.
Remember one of the neighbors. I grew up on 5.5 acres of property. Mm-hmm. One of the neighbors who was on their property was adjoining ours. I remember the day the SWAT team surrounded the home to take their son in because he was wanted for multiple violent crimes.
Right.
He was one of the biggest heroin pushers in the area. He was our own little drug kingpin. Wanted all sorts of violent crimes, all sorts of burglaries. His entire life, he was just like a fucking criminal.
Yep.
I was 8 years old watching a SWAT team just storm my neighbor's house in my teeny tiny 1,500 person hometown. You know what? I've never seen that in Philly or Baltimore or DC or New York or Chicago or St. Pete.
Yeah, the crime rate in DC is significantly lower than Oklahoma City, the largest city in his state.
Yeah,
right. By a lot.
By a lot.
So
what you're telling me is that Oklahoma City is more dangerous than Baghdad or Bogota, Colombia.
Yeah,
per Stephen Miller. Even if it is 99% people who look like Stephen Miller.
Yep, correct. Mark Wayne Mullen, you're a lying fascist piece of shit.
Who's got a dumb name. I have the one weekend I spent in Oklahoma City when I was visiting friends, when I was driving through. I was moving to Austin, but
DC's already arrested 100 people, by the way. The feds have arrested 100 people so far.
For what?
I want to get into the sandwich guy, because apparently the guy who was arrested
threw a sandwich
was a DOJ employee.
Wow.
They fired him, of course. You think
he knew he was going to get fired?
I think that one, even if I hate this administration, okay, fair, right? You're the Department of Justice. You can't have your your employees, like, throwing things at federal agents. That's
what?
a bad look in general.
I consider that.
I consider that.
I consider that his resignation.
Right. Like, yeah. Trying to charge him with like felony assault.
Yeah.
It's
stupid.
Fucking assault with a deadly weapon. You like that? You like that?
It was something.
Give you some fucking pawn action, baby.
But I remember the one weekend I was in Oklahoma City, my friend who I was staying with took me on a tour of Oklahoma City. She showed me all the sites. She showed me all the locations. She showed me 5 separate places where she'd seen people stabbed.
Yeah.
A lot of stabbings.
It's not a great place.
If you watch, the Flaming Lips are from Oklahoma City. If you watch the documentary about the band and them growing up, like literally half the documentary is just them telling stories about like people they watched get murdered as children in Oklahoma City.
And yeah, the place used to be much, much worse. I mean, I remember documentaries on Oklahoma City and like it's like weird, violent gang and drug problems in like the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it had, because it was one of those places that your major American cities that had, race plus class plus drug-based crime, like got all the news.
Yeah.
But as their crime rates dropped, this like middle America, like forgotten cities, they did not do better.
Right. And Oklahoma City was like the first place in the U.S. to have its oil industry collapse.
Yeah. And
like Oklahoma's oil industry collapsed in like the early 70s.
But so Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Arkansas.
I think Nixon was still president when their oil industry collapsed.
All of your middle America fucking cities that they thought were like safer than like New York and Chicago, right? They were way behind the trend in the crime rate drop, right?
But yeah.
And they still to this day, their economies, because guess what? Once you clean up the crime problems in Chicago or New York, right? You know what you have? An awesome, vibrant city people want to live in.
Yeah.
Right? And so once investment comes back to it and it starts to gentrify and the crime rate drops and jobs increase, what you have is a cool city. Say that about Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri. Like St. Louis is kind of cool, but not really. Right?
The only thing I know about Arkansas is that when he was a teenager, a former governor banged chicks in the bed of his pickup truck. Had grass in it, so it was comfortable.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing to know about Arkansas.
That is the full extent of my knowledge of the state of Arkansas.
Fair, I guess.
Bill Clinton's teenage sexual proclivities. Which, if you're going to know anything about Arkansas...
Yeah. Little Rock had a bad drug problem for years.
I mean, it was Little Rock. That's the thing. There is nothing to do in these places but drugs.
Right.
There's nothing. I
These
grew up in a
places-
place like this.
These places, well, that's the shitty thing about these like cities and like the middle America cities, right? Is that they're big enough to be real cities, but not big enough to actually be cool. Right? They don't have a big music scene. They don't have a bunch of great venues. I mean, they've got a few. They've always got everything a city has.
And especially when you get into middle America, they tend to be widely spaced apart, so you can't have, like, nowhere is on the way to anywhere else.
Yeah, lots of suburban sprawl. But these cities, like, they have everything a city has, but 10% of it. Right.
And none of it's as good.
Right.
It's all shitty versions of what a real city has.
Exactly. So, of course, there's just not enough fucking money, and there's a lot of crime, and they suck, and they're boring.
You wanna see a good flick about that sort of situation? Watch SLC Punk.
SLC Punk is great.
I haven't watched it in 20 years.
Speaking of which,
I remember liking it a lot.
I saw the best thesis on that, which was that your main character
is the poser.
Yeah,
and it's true.
It is
it's
true.
So true.
He was absolutely a poser.
He had his upper middle class parents that like took him to lunch and paid for his shit, but he wore the costume.
And the time he stops being an actual poser is when he quote unquote sells out, goes to law school, and decides he's going to be a public interest lawyer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so he stops being a poser. Gets rid of the costume, dresses like a normie, goes to law school, and decides to help people from within the system, right? And that's when he stops being a poser.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Classic film. You should watch it. Matthew Lillard's great.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard is.
Like I said,
he's the poser.
I haven't seen it in 20 years. I was still in Maryland the last time I saw it. I moved here in 2005.
It's been like 16, 17 years for me. So yeah, like because I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. Great movie.
There was we watched it at a party at my house that was for a bunch of people I didn't know, which is the only time I ever did that.
Nice.
Some dude who was wearing way too many chains broke one of my living room chairs.
Only fucking posers die, man. It was a great movie. I also love that the punk alone in the universe scene, like the how he's describing how the fight happens.
Yeah.
Like it was such a fun like.
I'll have to look and see if that's streaming anywhere. Give it another watch. It's been way too long.
All right. So Israel Smotrich launches settlement plan to bury idea of Palestinian state. We knew that's coming.
Did we talk about them murdering Al Jazeera's entire...
We did not. That happened afterwards.
That happened after that.
So they murdered the entire team of Al Jazeera journalists. 7 or 5 of them, plus 2 other people who were killed.
They intentionally bombed the press tent.
Yeah. They'd been queuing it up for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
They've been claiming that this journalist working for Al Jazeera worked for Hamas.
Did you hear their irrefutable proof that he worked for Hamas?
That he had some photos with some members of Hamas?
No,
that he had,
big thing. The thing that they actually came out and
said.
As
a journalist, I don't know.
Right. He was reporting on the scene, and there was like a woman in the background who like collapsed due to malnourishment.
Okay.
And he had an emotional reaction to that. And they said that his emotional reaction on camera was intellectual terrorism.
A woman collapsed from malnourishment.
Yeah.
I fucking cannot stand this country. I want to get into that more later.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about that thesis I was talking about, the triangulation and where the party sits and like some of the pieces that they're talking about. But put that aside. It just, they murdered this man. They murdered 5 journalists working for Al Jazeera. The reason that they were Palestinians at all is because foreign journalists are not being allowed into Gaza.
Right.
And Al Jazeera is relying on local journalists. I don't care if he was affiliated with Hamas.
I mean, it's like saying, it's like you go back to when we invaded Iraq and we're like, no one who was in the Ba'ath Party can have any involvement in anything ever again. It's like, well, you had to be in the Ba'ath Party to have a job.
Do you know who else works for Hamas in Gaza? Every paramedic.
Yeah. It's the government.
It is like
every civil servant of any kind.
Right.
Trash collectors are Hamas.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're going to have to do a better job of differentiating whether or not you're telling me that this guy was actively engaged in terrorist activities, right? And not just acts of resistance. Like, again, like
there's a difference.
I do not care if the guy threw Molotov cocktails at IDF soldiers, right?
Right.
Like
they were in tanks.
Yeah. If the guy planned to hit a kibbutz, right, during October 7th, sure, that guy.
Like there's a difference between like shooting at, throwing Molotov cocktails or rocks at someone who is actively like entering your space and deciding to go on a raid across the border and murder as many people as possible.
Right.
Those are different things.
And again, all intel that we do have from October 7th suggests that the main focus was going to be on military targets,
which it had previously been,
and some plans to hit some of the kibbutzes. Yes, but the main plan was that, and then just doing as much damage as they possibly could, and then thousands of civilians poured out and did even like most of the horrific things seem to have happened later by non-Hamas troops, right? Like Hamas did horrible things. Not saying that didn't happen. I'm saying that a lot of rank and file angry Palestinians, right, broke through the wall after Hamas broke it and went, we're going to fuck some shit up. And they did horrific things. That happens in almost every fucking kind of conflict like this.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, what country you're talking about, what people you're talking about. Mobs get out of control when they form.
Yes.
And you
beat and contain a population like you do the Palestinians.
You find that in that situation, people who would normally never do anything remotely like what happens are capable of unbelievably horrific actions that they would not believe they were capable of themselves.
Right.
Even though they're actively doing it. And once it's over, a lot of them have a hard time believing they did what they did.
Yeah. I've been in a lot of protests. I have been in protests that have gotten broken up by the cops and things turned crazy. I have been in protests that turned into riots.
Yeah.
And I've
never been in a riot.
I have been in situations that were not even protests that turned into a riot.
You get enough white college kids together.
Yes, that was exactly where I was going to go. I've been in 2 of those where like just white college kids decided they were going to riot.
Do you remember the Pumpkin Festival riot?
I heard about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing because it was, I can't remember what year it was, but it was like later in the same year where there had been a lot of like genuine civil unrest. Mm-hmm. And watching the 2 situations framed, where it's like, one, you had genuine civil unrest where there wasn't much violence and there wasn't much looting and there wasn't much destruction of property.
Right.
And the way it was framed as a riot compared to like these college kids destroying an entire town because they got drunk at a pumpkin festival.
Yep. And somebody told them to stop or something, because that's always the precipitating.
And that was not framed as a riot.
Like Mankato, Minnesota, the town my parents live in, right? Not a big city, not tiny. It's a city of like 50,000 people, and has a large college there.
Right.
Okay. And it's like 2 hours away, it's an hour and a half away from Minneapolis. When I was living there, when I just moved to Minnesota, I was staying actually with my folks. There was an incident where I think it was homecoming, right? There were some major parties and those weird dorm apartment situations, right? Like where it's like they're apartments, but they're also dorms. They're owned by the college. But they're also just standard apartments. It's a weird, like,
it's a terrible idea.
I don't know exactly how they operate. Like,
not well.
Yeah, and they're always kind of shitty. Right?
And it's almost always the kids who are old enough to drink.
Yes. And so they were having some massive parties at these things across the street from the school. Cops went to break one up. Some people decided to fight with the cops, right? That spiraled into damn near the entire student body, rioting, and it went from all the way to the campus to a few miles away to the downtown area where all the bars and little clubs were, right? Both of which were having fucking actual riots. They had to draw in law enforcement from around the state. Yikes. Right? To quell it. People were burning dumpsters down hills, and it's a big hilly town where there's it's a river valley town, right?
Those fucking dumpsters you get some momentum.
Yeah, so those things were just destroying cars that they hit. It was smashing into a car, just fucking totaling it. And people were just destroying things, all because the cops tried to break up a party for some rich white kids. That's who were drunk. That was it.
Meanwhile, you go back to 2020, and a Starbucks window getting broken during a BLM protest was national news.
Yeah. And now look, when they decided they were going to take over the Target, fucking dope. But the reason that they had to take over the Target was because the cops forced them into it. Literally, created a situation where things got out of hand on behalf of the police escalating and them cordoning off protesters to box them in front of that fucking Target, right?
Almost every time that a protest or march or whatever that was primarily started and engaged in by minority communities turns violent, it's because the cops start it.
Yep.
Intentionally. To turn it violent.
You have cops starting it. You have other outside agitators. Because I remember a bunch of, obviously, Proud Boys cops, same thing, but not always, right?
And it's hard to tell if somebody's black bloc, which side they're on.
Yep. But there were fucking Proud Boys and guys rolling coal and throwing things at the BLM protests, right? Trying to start things. And once they did escalate, then the cops came in with overwhelming force and things turned crazy.
Look at a kid like Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Showing up with the intention of shooting people.
Yeah,
He's going to fucking...
I will give it that once they tossed the gun charge under Wisconsin law, he was going to get a self-defense case.
Right.
Right. Because of the complexities of Wisconsin state law and self-defense law.
I'm not talking about whether or not he should have been convicted. I'm talking about but his intent.
His intent.
He went there because he wanted a violent confrontation.
Yeah, he had
so he could shoot somebody.
He had a fantasy of some type, right? Like whether or not he intended to shoot anybody, I'll even take that aside.
He read some Punisher comics he didn't understand.
Yes,
and he did some dumb fuckery.
He had a fantasy about being a tough guy, right? Whether or not he was really going to shoot anybody or wanted to shoot anybody, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you he had a fantasy about it, right? And that escalated into what happened.
Real people who have real...
He's also the one who flagged first. And I don't know if for those of you who aren't firearm enthusiasts like me, flagging means pointing your weapon at somebody by mistake.
Yeah.
Or sometimes on purpose, but generally by mistake. Yeah. When you flag somebody, it's one very, very bad form. It's not good firearm etiquette.
You should never point a firearm at something you don't intend to destroy.
Yeah. And in a tense situation, right, where you flag at people, it is perceived as a direct threat. The human brain...
That's how they see it.
We see that as a threat. So from the perspective of watching it from a video from a distance, you don't feel that. But if you were the people across the street from him that were yelling at him, right, that he waved the gun in the direction of, you would have felt threatened.
And, there are a lot of there's a lot of Gen X wannabe tough guys who've never had a gun pointed at them.
Yeah.
Who would learn a lot about themselves real fucking fast if they ever did.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question about older Gen X dudes. This because I've noticed this from the comments that I receive on my content. What is the deal with them all having the same goatee that makes their mouth look like an octogenarian's vagina?
I don't know,
because it's always trimmed in the exact same way. It's shaped the exact same way. They're all bald in the exact same way. I'm not cutting my hair, guys. Go fuck yourselves.
It is weirdly like a little white bush going on in their mouth. It's like trimmed.
It's like hospice pussy.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever understand. Because again, I have so many.
They always let it grow a little too long over their upper lip, so it's scraggly.
Yeah,
and it's trimmed here. It's weird. Weird guys.
I have some cultural affiliation with these folks because I'm at the end of their generation. But man, do I not get them most of the time because they the only thing we kind of agree on is music. And
I don't think
not always.
And they don't understand the music they like.
They don't.
What do you mean, Rage Against the Machines is commies?
No, their critical reception of the music and their ability to comprehend what it means, no. But at least they and I agree that the period of 1988 to 1997 was the best period of music ever.
Well, here's another thing.
Sure,
it was almost impossible to not have good taste in music for about 15 years there.
Right, because everything was fucking great.
Unless you were super hardcore into ultra mainstream pop music. Shit, even country music hadn't gone to shit yet because 9/11 hadn't happened.
Yeah, so there was
even country music was still good.
I didn't love country, but it still had a bunch of good stuff.
It wasn't my thing, but I respected it. Yeah. I could respect the songwriting, and you would still get a fucking Steve Earle banger every once in a while.
Right.
We're I'm gonna blow up some Fed boys on my property.
Yeah, there was still even way before 9/11, there was still a weird creep of weird patriotism country creeping in, but it hadn't taken over. Yeah. 9/11 put fucking steroids in that bitch. Outlaw country. I mean,
go watch that old interview where it's Christofferson and Cash and Waylon and Willie talking about politics in
Waylon and Willie,
the 80s.
What I love about it is Waylon and Willie don't want to they agree with Chris and Johnny.
Willie just wanted to get stoned,
right.
man.
They agree with Chris and Johnny, but they are the kind of guys that don't want to get into it, right? You know what I mean? And they're polite and they don't want to get into it. They don't want to alienate folk who are otherwise good people, right? But Johnny and Chris
Christofferson, man, they
went so fucking
Chris
hard.
Christofferson might be the greatest American songwriter. You can make a case.
You could make a case.
You could make a case.
He's got some really, really good songs.
When he passed, and I went back and I hadn't listened to a lot of his stuff since high school, And I did like a hard, like weekend-long deep dive where I just listened to nothing but... Holy shit.
Yeah.
That man could sing and he could write and he...
It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, this isn't usually my style of music, but ooh, you've got something.
Like on a rainy afternoon, you throw on some like early Christofferson.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, you know what? His rendition of a song that he didn't write, but was about him. His rendition of Me and Bobby McGee is actually really solid. Like, it's like I heard that and I was like, ooh, right in my feels, because singing a song about you, written by a woman that you were in love with that died.
It's just brilliant performer, brilliant songwriter.
Yeah.
Good actor.
Yes, he
Although,
was.
there's this movie called...
I love Millennium, by the way.
Yeah, there's this movie called Knights.
Uh-huh.
Came out in like late 80s, early 90s. He plays a cyborg in the wasteland. This was very much Chris Christopherson needed a paycheck filmmaking.
Okay.
It's one of the most incomprehensible acting performances I've ever seen, because he's just got this weird sort of dopey grin on his face the entire time, no matter what's going on, because he's a robot.
Okay.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere.
Chris Christopherson has a grin, so I mean, like,
Yeah.
he's got a great grin. So I bet that thing is prominent throughout the whole thing. Hey.
It's I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but it's called Knights. I cannot remember who the female lead was, but she was like one of those like B tier in a lot of trashy movies, but hot.
Okay.
Female leads, you know the type.
Yeah.
I can't even think of any fucking
My-
names off the top of my head now.
My
but you know the
recommended
type.
Chris Christopherson watch is Millennium.
Yeah.
Like,
Not a great movie, but he's...
I love it though. I love the premise. I absolutely adore the premise of like,
and I think
humanity has fucked up the planet so badly that we invent time travel to save the species, right? And what we're doing is taking people from like horrific accidents like plane crashes, right? Disappearing a few of them, right? Bringing them to the future and like staging them so that we can send them so far into the future that the planet has like recovered from all the ecological damage that we're doing to it. And this is like this is a mid 80s movie, right?
late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. So like, but just the like in the 80s, how much we knew that we were going to fuck up our planet so bad that we couldn't fix it without fucking time travel
I swear,
and waiting it out.
What blows me away is I remember being a fucking small child watching 3-2-1 Contact on PBS.
Oh,
and
God,
I fucking love 3-2-1 Contact.
It's the reason. It's the answer.
Even without the Bloodhound Gang endings, which I loved those too, but like the amount of science that I learned watching that show.
Right.
I knew climate change was a problem at like 8 or 9 years old. In the 80s.
Right.
I don't know how we got to the point. I do not understand how we got to the point where anyone thinks it's a hoax. Like, we didn't think that 40 years ago.
No, we didn't.
Like, I remember when acid rain was a problem.
Yeah.
And we
solved a good chunk of it.
it.
Yep.
That's why, and people's like, how come we don't talk about acid rain anymore? We fixed it.
The ozone layer one, oh my God. When the right brings up, like, when nobody brings up the ozone layer anymore, it's like, yeah.
We fixed it.
We got every major manufacturing nation on the planet together to agree to ban one specific category of chemicals that were not necessary for aerosols. It just made aerosols cheaper, right? But it was not necessary for them.
If that happened today, we would just allow Australia to become uninhabitable, more uninhabitable.
The only thing that banning CFCs did was make certain cosmetic products financially unaffordable, right? Like impractical, like Aquanet.
Well, it didn't hold as well.
Right.
It wasn't Aquanet. If you didn't experience CFC Aquanet, you cannot understand what this shit was capable of.
Oh boy.
It was. I'm pretty sure that that alone did more damage to the 80s LA glam metal scene than grunge ever did. Getting rid of real Aquanet.
Right.
Like
Their hair just couldn't hold during a show anymore at all.
And it was also the most amazing potato gun propellant.
Yeah.
That shit was hilariously explosive.
Extraordinarily flammable. Aquanet, if you didn't experience it, it was this hairspray that, my God, it came in these big cans. Right?
Like gargantuan cans.
And it held like super glue.
It basically turned your hair into concrete.
Yeah.
And in seconds.
Now, it was not terribly water friendly. So if it got wet, it broke apart. But then if it dried again at all, like, it clamped back. So, like, you could wear it, like, during a concert as a musician,
and it would just stay
because you blow out your hair as fucking glam metal.
You just lean over, have your hair as big as possible, spray it with Aquanet. You stand back up, and your hair's like, ah.
Yeah. Like,
I would, if I had Aquanet now, I would do it just for the bit.
God, man, can we find a can of Aquanet somewhere?
You know what? As a science experiment, I will get my hands on a can of the best, most strongest hold hairspray I can get on the market now, and I will do that.
Yeah,
I will.
I don't think anything ever will hold like Aquanet did.
No,
and it was like this ubiquitous brand.
It came in this that fucking like neon pink can.
It was purplish.
It was like a magenta.
Like a magenta. Yeah, it was actually almost like toned like our.
Yeah.
Our
it's very
logo.
similar to that. Yeah, the inner part.
Yeah, the inner part.
Yeah.
It's
like
it was. This shit was so fucking. It was toxic as hell. If you accidentally sprayed it in your eyes, my God, was it painful.
You would accidentally get high.
Yeah, you would get high
every time you did your hair.
Oh shit, yes. I remember being in the fucking bathroom with my mom while she was doing her hair.
It's like being
and just spray because they used so much. Everybody used so much of this shit in the 80s too. So I'm just like fucking huffing fucking CFC fucking Aquanet. This shit is basically, it's just whippets in a can.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
It was fucking wild.
It was fucking spray glue. Oh, it was great. Yeah, but we banned CFCs. Aquanet went out of business. Bye. Right? We got better hairstyles in exchange. I honestly think that the giant teased and like bulletproof perms thing of the 80s and early 90s was bad, right?
Yeah, we were the other day.
We all looked objectively terrible.
Yesterday morning, I was sitting out at the other bar, and this movie from the 80s was on, and like the fucking perm one of the women in the movie had was those like aggressively tight little curls. I was fucking
They all look like poodles. My mom had that bullshit. My stepfather came home with a really bad tight perm once.
When he was 12 years old, my buddy got a perm. Because he had really, really thick hair too. So like it didn't fall. Right. It just puffed out. So it was like this fucking clown wig of hair. And I just remember his Little League pictures where he like couldn't even get his ball cap all the way on. So he just had this little baseball cap sitting on top of this fucking helmet of fucking tightly permed hair.
What do you think? What do you think would happen if I got just this patch of hair that I keep permed?
2002 Timberlake.
You know what?
I'm thinking 2002 Timberlake.
I kind of want to do this for science,
but
I don't want to fuck my hair up forever.
I don't do anything permanent to my hair.
Yeah, because perm does stand for permanent.
Yeah.
Like it.
You gotta get those little fucking curls. Yeah. Like how I can still smell it. I can still smell the perm
toxic
solution.
Ass fucking. Yeah. I wonder if Tyler would do it for me.
I wonder if he could do a semi-permanent perm. I bet he could. I
I just want to shoot for.
But next week, you need to do that. I'll do like.
I don't know if I. All right, look.
One of these weeks.
One of these weeks. I don't.
It'll be great for. It'll be good for the bit.
I'm gonna have to think on this one. I might have I've got a court date next week, so maybe not.
Maybe after the court date.
After the court date. I got plans next weekend, so I don't know. Plans that involve psilocybin.
You don't want to have that perm see yourself in the mirror on a ton of psilocybin.
The existential crisis I would have, like, I'd probably just be mesmerized like I was a Gorgon and they were fucking.
They just start moving and swirling around.
Yeah, That's a Gabby trying to call me.
Should we
take a break?
take a break?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We are back.
Tiny little break there.
Had an important business call.
Business.
I guess it was important.
Kind of. Something about a permit with the city getting fucked up. The usual.
It happens in this town.
Yep. So, last bit of news I actually want to talk about.
Okay.
Is that executive order I was talking to you about before we got started recording.
Okay.
Trump quietly rescinded an executive order. Just that's like a no explanation. I'm rescinding this executive order. Right? The executive order was one that created like 72 ways that the administration was going to combat antitrust actions and expand competition.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you are one of those fucking simps for capitalism that I know are out there, you should probably be all for as much competition in every sector as possible. Because capitalism, when it works the way they say it's supposed to, does best when you have multiple people trying to offer the best service or product for the lowest price in a competitive market.
So this had 72 initiatives directing federal agencies, dozens of federal agencies, including the FTC, to pursue curbing anti-competition practices. Okay. Focus on expanding labor markets, including by addressing non-competes and their enforceability, banning them in certain circumstances, and limiting them, and directing the Department of Labor to go after strict non-competes, right? And NDAs that were non-enforceable. As the laws have already, they've been struck down numerous times, and some laws are completely against them. But NDAs can be enforced, except when you're hiding criminal activity or the information is already public knowledge, right? Those sorts of things. Yeah. And so, but they used to be ironclad, so you could get somebody under an NDA and be like, haha, you can never talk about the bad thing I did. Yeah. Right? And so they curbed that.
I mean, I know people who've tried to do things like, haha, you can't do anything about that time I sexually assaulted you.
Yep. It
That's
directed
a bad look.
The FTC and the DOJ was tasked with ramping up enforcement actions against anti-competition practices, including illegal mergers, right? Mergers that would violate other laws. Increases in regulatory reform. It cut drug prices. It reduced the price of internet. It made things more accessible. This was a good thing. This was as limited. Obviously, executive orders being limited can only do so much, but it did a lot to benefit the average consumer and the average American.
Yeah, but you have to understand Joe Biden.
But Joe Biden. That everything about this is about...
And I want to make something perfectly clear here, because I don't feel like the right understands this.
Okay.
If Donald Trump, even being the same human being that he is, were proposing and pushing through reasonable policies that benefited the American people and the American economy, I would support them even if I disliked him as a person.
Yeah,
because it'd be good policy.
Here's the thing. I could say that he is a rapey scumbag that I think should be in prison. But I would say, oh, wow, that thing he did there, that ain't that bad. Yeah. His first term, there were 3 things ever that I didn't hate. Yeah. Right? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, fine. That's fine. But I said that about those things. At the time, I can't remember what the fuck they were.
No, I can't either.
He had such a terrible fucking presidency the first time around. But there were one of them, which he really didn't have much to do with. But yeah, the Operation Warp Speed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Which now the fucking right and its weird fucking anti-science quackery, are fucking against.
His one, the one thing that everybody would have to agree was a success.
Yes.
From his first administration. You cannot intellectually, honestly disagree with the statement that operation worked. It was a success. We got what we wanted out of it.
Right. And
in incredibly short turnaround. Like that was genuinely impressive.
Exactly. Reducing some regulatory barriers between, the creation of to allow the creation of a vaccine to come to market the fastest that we had in decades. Right. Utilizing
understanding that it was like a public health emergency, so you didn't have time for 3 phases of clinical trials.
Right. They did them, but they did them. The best part is what they just did was streamlined everything.
Yeah.
Like it didn't skip anything. It just actually streamlined everything. So that allowed them to do things concurrently.
Right.
Like the phases of the different trials were allowed to be done concurrently. They didn't have the long wait periods in between submitting and waiting for the approval for the next step. Right. They just, okay, boom, on to the next step, And the government putting in money for it. It all worked. That was good policy. I liked it. I didn't hate that he did it. I'm willing to say that.
Yeah. Because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's objectively true. It was objectively good for us and the world.
I will say that about any president we've ever had. Mm-hmm. If you can show me a policy that had objective that the objective benefits outweighed the objective downsides, it's a successful policy.
Yeah. There were under Bush, there were a handful of little things. His labor department was actually not the worst. It wasn't the best.
No.
But Bush's labor department was not the worst. The way that he directed the FTC at the time to go after certain types of fraud and abuse, right? Actually worked. And they aggressively went after an industry I was working in at the time, the collections industry. They aggressively went after the bad actors, which allowed people like me who wanted to do the job correctly, right? It allowed us to do our job without looking like as big of assholes as we could have, because they went after the scumbags and the crooks in the industry.
Right.
I approved of that. Everything else about their administration, disaster. But certain things I will admit to. The right will never, because it's, again, because Joe Biden, right?
The right is fun. I don't think this was always the case. I don't think this was the case really until Gingrich in 94. The right exclusively views politics as team sports.
Yes. Now, the Democrats do it too.
Right.
But also they view the sport, they don't view it as win-lose. So this is how I see them differently. They both see it as team sports, right? But Democrats are stat heads, right? You know what I'm talking about? They are fantasy football players, right?
Right.
They're the people who track the stats, look at the outcomes, right? And then build their fantasy team, right?
Right.
Republicans are fucking team diehards, okay? Win or lose, they always want the team to win, no matter what, right? And they always view it as rigged whenever the fucking refs are against them, right?
They're Cowboys fans.
They're Cowboys fans, yeah. They're
most of them are Cowboys fans.
Yeah, right. They're when the Vikings are playing the Packers and the Packers are beating their asses. It's always the refs are against me, the rules are against me,
God's against me.
That's how they view it. Now, Democrats are also guilty of playing the team sport with it, but they're stat heads for the most part. And they build their fantasy team around outcome and policy, and then that's what they want. It's neither are good for politics, but there's a fundamental difference that I think doesn't get explored enough. Speaking of teams, the right, the funny thing is, the right is in a pickle.
It's in a little bit of a pickle.
And not the fickle girl you sent me, which, don't be friends with this man.
I send only the highest quality of memes.
You assault. I mean, I make sure once you send me things, I send it to so many. I hurt so many people's eyes.
You're welcome.
But our friendship it's a thing. And I question whether or not you like me sometimes.
We're talking about this, by the way.
She thickle. Look at that mouth.
What that mouth do?
What that mouth do? I mean,
Pickle bitch.
what? Whew.
Vlasic. Fresh, firm, and just a little wet. Beats a goddamn stork any day.
Yeah. So, our friendship, it's a thing.
You'd be lost otherwise.
I'd be more depressed. I won't lie. My depression
You
is...
can't be depressed when you're that fucking horrified.
The other day, I was listening to a song as I was walking, and it was it was hot, but it was nice and sunny, and I had this happy bop in my head. Oh, it was Matchbox 20's "Let's See How Far We've Come." You know that song, right?
Not by name. I'm sure I've heard it.
It's the "I believe the world is coming to an end again. I guess we're gonna find out."
I don't remember
How
it.
far we've come. It's a bop, right? And I was listening to that. I don't know what happened, but I was put in such a good mood. I almost wanted to skip. Like,
Nice.
I'm like, oh, I'm 45. and I
Sometimes you gotta frolic.
I wanted to frolic.
You have to frolic
I
sometimes.
didn't frolic because I realized I was a 45-year-old man walking down the street.
You can't lead a frolic-free life.
But I wanted to frolic. I wanted to dance down the street. It was a weird mood. It was out of character for me. Like
need to
3 hours later, I wanted to shoot myself.
frolic
But during
ferally
that
forth.
moment, I was into
You need
frolicking.
to frolic ferally forth into the future.
So yeah, now that I've made that weird confession,
So the right's in a pickle.
right to the pickle.
That's how we got here.
Whew. Oh, unmedicated HD is the best.
It's something. Nothing like raw dog in reality.
I refuse to completely raw dog reality. I just don't do it with all of the meds that I should be on. I prefer to self-medicate.
That never works out poorly.
Hello, pot. This is Kettle.
I have no problems.
You and I have the same motherfucking disorders. What are you talking about? You're more autistic than I am.
I don't remember your rad score.
156.
Yeah, no, mine was 126. So you are 30 more autistic than me.
You exhibit it better.
You
all
are
right?
30 more autistic.
30 more. Yeah. We're oversharing. I love it. So the right is in a pickle. This is what I've been, hell, what the original premise of the show was. I do a lot of just deep diving into what these fucking morons are saying sometimes. And,
Yeah.
We keep forgetting to go back to that, but
ADHD, brother.
yeah. But Tucker Carlson, as of late, and to another degree, Marjorie Taylor Greene, have been on one lately.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, I want to say that Democrats are absolutely dropping the ball by allowing right-wingers to claim and frame the space when it comes to criticism of Israel.
It's absurd.
Yes, I know that there's probably some genuine anti-Semitism hiding under...
especially coming from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Like, I'm not so sure about Tucker. I don't think he actually is anti-Semitic.
I don't actually know that he genuinely is anything other than self-serving.
Right.
He's smart.
He's smart.
He's a very smart man. I will never take that away from him.
He's smart. He's self-serving. He has an ideology. I don't exactly know entirely what it genuinely is.
He is genuinely some sort of conservative.
Right.
Beyond that vague, broad definition, I don't know what label to put on him.
Right.
In reality, like, I know how he presents himself,
yeah,
but I do not know what is in
under
his
the surface,
ideological heart.
Who he is when we talked about, like, when he's in the green rooms, he doesn't sound like.
He's apparently very friendly, very outgoing, very cheerful, and understands that he's playing a character when he's on camera.
Yep, there have been times that there's been those weird admissions. You know, he knows he lives in New York or did. Like he's got places outside of that, but you know, he knew he was living in a major metropolitan area and liked living there, and you know, like had fucking lunches and dinners and parties with with liberals, right?
This sort of guy who would like unironically want to go to the opera,
right? Like he pretends like the whole fucking like flannels and checkered shirts thing like that he's been doing as of late is cosplay,
just like the fucking bow tie was.
Yeah,
back in the day,
libertarians were wearing bow ties back then. And he was working for Cato. You know, that's...
I don't understand. That was so weird because it was so ubiquitous.
Yeah. But so he's like vaguely libertarianish. He's very vaguely populist. He's vaguely Christian nationalist, but quasi-agnostic, right? But identifies, wants the culture to be...
He wants cultural Christianity.
Right.
Not biblical Christianity.
Yeah. And
I think that is, at this point, the overwhelming majority of Americans who call themselves Christians.
Yeah.
They want the trappings and the cultural morality that it's allegedly embodies.
And he has some like fasci chauvinistic views, but he's also like anti-neocon and critical of the right in some certain ways that I find fascinating. I watched the entirety of that interview he did with the nun, George Stephanopoulos' sister. Actually, I don't know if you...
I didn't know about this one.
Yeah, so she's Greek Orthodox. She's a nun. She has been... she's kind of not really close with her brother. They don't like talk that much, right? But she is a Greek Orthodox nun who has been living in Palestine off and on since the 90s. And teaches at schools in Palestine and including in Gaza for a while. And she's been to Gaza. She's living in the area around Bethlehem and Jerusalem, right? And teaching schools there. And she went on a an hour and a half interview with Tucker. Did you catch any of that at all?
I didn't even know about it.
Oh, it's eye-openingly good. And now I don't give him much credit. The thing I really noticed about it, obviously, is that his style of interviewing, where he asks questions kind of incredulously, like not in a bad faith way, but he's like, "No, really? Why isn't anybody doing anything about that?" Right? Like the way he asks it, and I realized as he's asking these questions that he's been a news guy since the 90s, right?
Yeah. It's going on 30 years,
and he was for a while the anchoring anchor of the largest news outlet in the world, right? The Fox's flagship show, for a while. So his incredulous way of asking these questions and seeming shocked or confused by what's happening in Israel seems a little disingenuous to me. Right,
he's
and then because in the interview, it then brings up that he once interviewed Netanyahu, and he had some of these same questions. It was like, okay, well, you were with CNN back then, So So what bothers me about Tucker in that regard is that he clearly shows that he knows better and could have done better over time, right? That bothers me about him. But what else I caught is that the right is now trying to take Gaza as an issue. Not all of it. The Trump administration is not yet, right?
Right.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, to a lesser degree, Charlie Kirk, because they talked about it, right? They're trying to take Gaza as an issue. Economic populism, they're trying to take pieces of that as an issue. There's a weird civil war happening between him and the Nick Fuentes camp over who's going to win over the Gen Z vote.
Right. And I'll say that I think there's a susceptible community in that is your Gen Z white guy leftists,
right?
Who are only leftists or left-leaning at all because they have been personally injured by capitalism.
Yes.
They are very susceptible
I will say them and the Authcom young leftists who come from privilege, right?
I mean, they're authoritarian, so.
Yes. You know,
Authoritarians are authoritarians, regardless of left or right.
they have
You're
a
an
bad tendency.
authoritarian.
They have a bad tendency of shifting from one side to the other once somebody comes along and tells them it's okay to be who they are.
And
right?
regardless, they have the same prescription for what to do with problematic communities.
Yeah.
As they see fit.
And now look, I understand the impulse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I think that a lot of Donald Trump voters might deserve the wall? Yeah. Do I think we should actually, as a government, put millions of people against the wall and shoot them?
That'd be bad.
That would be bad.
That'd be bad.
So no, I don't
It's
believe
a
that.
fantasy.
Right. Like,
It's something that, like, in the moment, you're like, God, I just wish we could eliminate all these people.
yes.
But you're not going to actually eliminate all those people. But, like, they will.
I think one generation of imbeciles is one too many
Right.
so far.
And also, like,
But
the overwhelming majority of those people, once he's gone, just stop becoming politically engaged entirely.
yes,
They will disappear. It'll be weird. It'll be weird how many people who can't shut up about politics now will just evaporate as
Right.
soon as he's gone and the movement is done.
So what you said earlier when we were talking about this before we went on air, I thought was interesting, which is everybody in the right-wing movement right now is trying to figure out what their place is, what their space is when he's gone.
Right. Because he's done some very weird things to conservatism as a whole in the United States and the right-wing movement as a whole in the United States, because he has made it almost exclusively about him as a personality.
Right.
And
Him-
no one has done that really in this country before.
Yeah,
That's a new thing that he managed to pull off.
it is all about him as a personality. There are some core
That's why everybody
policies that
Right.
go with it.
That's
but-
why everybody who tried to be a mini him failed so spectacularly. That's why DeSantis, who was banking on this being like the next 30 years of his political career, is done once
Right.
he's not governor anymore.
Like, yeah, he might be able to continue winning here in Florida if, like, if they lifted the restriction, or if he decides to run for Senate, right? But he is not. He's never going to be president.
No.
That's done. And he's never going to be the major face of the Republican Party. That's done.
Nope.
He's not as interesting. He's not
weird.
He's weird.
He's
not
weird in bad ways.
Right. Pudding fingers. Remember pudding fingers?
Putting fingers in.
And you're never going to convince me that that's not true. And
It's absolutely true.
Way too many of his staffers said it was true, and
Yeah,
so did
it's-
like a journalist.
it's
like he
way
eats
too true.
pudding with his fucking fingers. That's fucking weird, man.
You see it all over his face, like down his neck.
Like, look, if you're gonna eat pussy weird, or sorry, if you're gonna eat pussy, that's Freudian slip. But what I'm saying,
You have to partially eat that with your
yeah,
fingers.
what I was gonna say is that if you're gonna eat pudding weird, bury your face into it like it's a pussy. All right, just go into it. Just bury your face in the pudding. Go to town. Don't.
Show the world what that tongue do.
Right. Like, God, my Freudian slip killed the punchline. I hate when that shit happens. Kill me. Kill me now. I'm begging you, please. Release me from this mortal coil. But no. Damn it. So, they're in a pickle. Like, what are they going to do once he's gone? And they're really trying to capture a few things that have legs that are bad for the Democrats, right? Because they're Democratic issues. They're issues that only that the center, that the moderates, that the Democratic establishment is fucking wrong on. Right?
They are issues that only progressives have solutions to.
Right. And fucking Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene are latching on to those hard and fast. And the Democratic establishment is dropping the ball here because it's going to be a part of the movement. It's going to be the one thing that's bad for them. But their pickle is that, one, the business establishment isn't going to get behind them the same way.
No.
When this is over with. The old moderate guard like when Trump is gone and they're no longer afraid of the fever dream fucking mob base, right? They're going to be back to Mitt Romney's, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll support the crazies in the places where the crazies win.
Yeah.
But they'll be back to backing fucking Mitt Romney and fucking
and like I was saying earlier, the whiplash we're going to see in the establishment Republicans who have been there for a long time back to the center.
Yeah.
Once they don't have to worry about MAGA anymore, you're gonna see some very confused moderate Democrats realizing that there are Republicans to their left on a lot of issues. They will have no understanding of how that happened because they don't understand what's happening right now.
Right. And somebody who actually weirdly got at least a piece of it that I didn't expect to, John Meacham. I saw him. You remember him, right? Fucking like uber centrist fucking commentator, right? Like, and very, very establishment like leaning guy. And he went and said the other day that the crazier the Trump presidency is right now, the more likely an AOC presidency it's making it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and now I honestly think she's going to be smart enough to aim lower next time.
I don't think she's going to run.
Like, I know she's like, I am not putting it past that. I think she probably has an aspiration maybe for the office someday.
Someday, but I think she'll jockey for like
Senate
or
governor.
Maybe in a future administration, a cabinet position.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's going to run.
No.
In 2028.
But she's definitely like, she's going to aim lower if she's smart.
I think she will be offered a VP slot by someone.
That would be really...
I think she will be offered a VP slot.
That would be really interesting.
And I think she would be an unusually public-facing VP in that office. I think she would learn from Harris being like basically invisible for the first 3 years of Biden's term.
Yeah. And it's I don't know why she was so invisible. Again,
I mean, part of it was like what she was doing took her out of the country a lot.
Yes.
And she was good at it and didn't get any credit for it. But a lot of it involved being out of the country.
Right. And I don't fault that per se, but man, she needed more headlines and she needed to be more involved in domestic policy.
Yeah.
The problems I have with the Democratic establishment are how the fucking Jim McAvoy from fucking Newsroom said it, which is if liberals are so smart, how come they lose so goddamn always?
Yeah.
Right? Like, the establishment guys, like Donald Trump, uniquely unpopular. Joe Biden, approval rating in the tubes, and he's obviously starting to decline.
Yeah.
Like,
not as bad as people made it out to be, but he was not the person that he was 4 years earlier.
Yeah. A year into his presidency, he was starting to decline. We knew it.
He should have... After the first... In 2023, early 2023, once we had, had our soft landing...
Right. When things started to really rebound.
He should have announced he was not seeking re-election.
Yeah,
officially.
Especially because at that point, inflation was at its worst.
Yeah.
Right? But while inflation was at its worst, the rest of the economy was doing so goddamn good that,
we could have had a real primary, and regardless of who the nominee was, they would have been in a much better position.
Yeah.
And they also wouldn't have the baggage.
Right.
Like, even if he had announced he wasn't running for re-election and Harris had still been the nominee, she would have been as forced to be a part of the administration.
Right.
And in lockstep with everything Biden was doing as president.
Yes.
That final year.
If she had actually had her own primary.
Yeah.
Where she had... And if there was a primary that year, a genuine one, she would have won it. Let's be real.
Probably, yeah.
And again, it's not that it was a coronation; it's that she was the sitting VP, right? And
I think she might have been in better shape had he resigned, and she had been taken over as president, and had that last year. Because then I think we would have seen some change in our Israel policy,
right?
And I think that would have benefited her a lot.
But even then, if you took that aside and just said he drops out of the race a year and a half before the race, she has a primary, right? Wins. is allowed to have some daylight.
Right. Is
Right.
allowed to become her own candidate and not just a mirror of the current administration.
And that would have, she probably would have won.
Yeah.
The Democrats are really bad at seizing these opportunities because, God damn it, the Republican Party is trash. Like, they are garbage people. They are garbage politicians. Their actual political instincts aren't that great.
Their policy prescriptions are deranged.
Yeah, they just tap into some emotional bullshit, right? And that will get you so far. But if you know how to counter it,
it's like a fucking paper tiger.
Right. And so the current Republican Party is in such disarray right now underneath Trump, right? Trump is reshaping the government. He is reshaping our society in really damaging ways.
In ways that most Republicans don't actually want.
Right. And that's beneath that layer. You have a party that is struggling to find what its own identity is going to be when he's gone. And the Democratic Party is doing so little.
The way they refuse to crush them is beyond me.
Yeah.
Destroy them. Just fucking... I don't like Gavin Newsom.
Right.
I have never liked Gavin Newsom. He seems like one of the few people who understands what's happening.
Right. And
his like all caps posting lately has been fucking...
Yeah.
Got to give that piece of shit credit.
Pritzker understands what's happening right now.
He openly calls him fascist.
Yep. And he has also decided to take the lane that we need to defund AIPAC and Israel. Right? He has decided to shift that lane. He's calling it a genocide.
Yeah.
Right? So, now obviously...
He's definitely going to run.
He's definitely going to run. Obviously, he has the funds that AIPAC can't scare him.
Yeah.
Like, he's a billionaire. Like,
And
I don't
want to say this right now.
like that, but...
AIPAC is only scary if people don't show up to vote.
Right. And AIPAC really isn't that.
No.
AIPAC is given way too much credit. And...
Which makes their job easier.
Yeah. A lot easier. They go after vulnerable candidates. Right?
In primaries.
Yeah. The biggest problem is fucking Christian Zionism, which is insane.
Yeah, who outnumber like the total world population of Jews by like 4-1.
Right.
Just in this country alone.
And
Christian Zionists.
what I loved about that nun that was on fucking Carlson, right? You know, she called them heretics.
They are.
They right, like just straight up, like this is a heresy. Like it was declared a heresy. Like the first time, like the rapture was brought up. Like the first creation of the rapture,
Like
was,
150 years ago.
well, sort of. Like it was started as the idea of 1,000-year war, right? In like the church was a couple hundred years old, right? They immediately called that heretical, right? Like it was both the Orthodox and Catholic churches like called that an excommunicatable offense to believe, right? Like right off the gate. And then it popped back up 150 years ago and became its whole like fucking misinterpretation of fucking Revelation as a rapture and fucking death cult Israel bullshit.
The amount of like stretching you have to do to find the rapture in the Bible is like, no one would read that and come to that conclusion.
Yeah, no. It's like partially prophetic, partially historical, partially like fever dream about a contextual conflict happening in the area at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Revelation is very much like, hey, we'll get through this.
Yeah.
It's like, we will get through this.
And it was about a war that was happening and then one that was expected to be coming, right, in the region. Like
in the imminent future.
Geopolitical problems of the fucking Levant in the fucking 1st century AD.
Yeah,
That's
under the fucking Roman Empire.
Yeah. Like, as the Roman Empire was starting to have some problems.
Yeah.
Like,
because Nero.
yeah. Like, I mean, he was the first, but yeah, like the Roman Empire was starting
he was
to have,
specifically the emperor when it was being written.
yes, but it's like,
It's very much about him personally.
Roman Empire's having problems. It's falling apart in its periphery, which included the Levant, right?
Yeah.
Like neighboring states are like eyeing it up for fucking carving, right? Like, you know, there were all these problems happening. That's what Revelation is some fucking fever dream religious fucking prophecy and backpatting about that.
Yeah.
Like, has nothing to do with today. And, like, serious biblical scholars will tell you that. Like, every single one of them.
Literally anyone.
Yeah. Like, not American theologians, serious biblical scholars will tell you that it's bullshit. Speaking of which, I love Dan McClellan's stuff.
I really like Dan McClellan a lot.
I'm an atheist, but I appreciate his work. Like,
you know what I find? This is a side. Something that I would like to ask a dude like Dan McClellan, who I know is both a very academic biblical scholar, but also someone who has like a faith of his own,
right?
Because he is Mormon. How do you reconcile what you intellectually know about the historicity of the Bible and how it was written and how it was edited and how it was put together with like your own personal beliefs?
That's a really good question.
I'm really fascinated in knowing
so far
the
on his
answer to
channel,
that.
he refuses to talk about it. And I think it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I
understand that because it would muddy the waters, like rhetorically,
right?
But I really want to because
he's focused on truth, accuracy, historicity, right?
But that's something that I would like, because I know that there's a huge number of biblical religious scholars in general, like regardless of religion, who take that approach, but they still have like really deeply held spiritual beliefs,
right?
That they know intellectually don't line up with like what they know to be like empirically verifiable fact.
Right.
Maybe that's just me not understanding personal faith as someone who doesn't have that kind of faith.
Yeah, I'm constitutionally incapable of that level of interpersonal faith where I can conceptually believe that it's possible there being some kind of metaphysic to the universe, right? But all of my brain tells me that it cannot be anything like any of the religions described by humans.
Yeah,
and most ideas of spirituality on Earth, except maybe Buddhism, taking away the magic.
I cannot say with absolute certainty that there is no God, but I can say with absolute certainty that no human religion knows anything about that God.
Right.
If such a being exists. We're just making shit up.
Yeah. You know,
I think that if there were some sort of supreme being, if you wanted to like, and it was keeping itself hidden from like the sentient beings, I think the only way you might be able to come to any understanding is if you went through like multiple species across the universe's like respective faiths and like teased out the common threads.
Right.
But even then, like, you'd still be guessing.
Yeah, like, you know, not to get too weird and philosophical, but my ideas of if the universe has a creator, right? Like, I lean in this weird direction of like, if possible, we're in probably some form of simulation, right? Or a universe created mechanistically in a cycle of universes that get created as simulations that then birth into new things when the Big Bang happens.
Right.
And that it's a constant cycle of like the creator is created by the universe in a cycle of time looping back. I know that's weird.
As far as I can
it's
tell,
hard to explain. Like,
if there is some sort of intelligent creator.
But it doesn't make sense to me otherwise as something
Here's one thing that I think we can say for certain, just based on what we know about the universe and what we've learned scientifically about everything we know about the universe.
Okay.
If there is some sort of intelligent creator that created everything, that creator went out of its way to not show any signs of its existence in what we can see about the universe.
Yes.
That tells me that if this being exists, they don't want us to know about it.
Right.
Which absolutely precludes the idea of like some sort of intercessory personal God who cares about when you masturbate or who you bone.
The best argument for it that I can think of is that the universe has all of this magically spontaneous order, right? That the math just works, right? That the universe developed stars and mass and matter and gravity and energy and cyclical movement and Newtonian physics and relativity, right? And quantum mechanics. It developed all of these things, and it culminated into cool things like living beings, right? And all of that is fucking amazing, right? And the most amazing thing about it is that the universe creates that kind of order.
But by the same token, like, you run into the issue of, like, when it comes to fine-tuning like that, if it hadn't been that way, we wouldn't be here to notice the fine-tuning.
Right.
So, like...
It's... All I'm saying is its best cool argument is, my God, this universe has so much spontaneous order, right?
Right.
That, like, is... How?
But it's,
you know,
it's very much the old Douglas Adams parable about the puddle.
Okay.
It perfectly fits in the hole that it's in the ground.
Yes.
Like the hole was created for it because it perfectly fits in the hole that it's in the ground.
Behold the banana.
Yeah.
The atheist nightmare.
Look at how it curves towards your mouth. It feels so good in your mouth. Look at the way you cup it in your hand, and it curves.
Perfect. Look at that girth.
Right towards your mouth.
That girth is perfect for my hand. God, Ray Comfort.
Kirk Cameron has never had an erection like he had that day.
The atheist, and it's textured so it doesn't slip out of
feels
your
so
hand.
good in your hand.
You're like, the banana is the atheist nightmare because God created it. Ladies and gentlemen,
I've seen wild bananas.
look up wild bananas. The banana, as you know it, is not the atheist nightmare because it's designed as if it was supposed to be used by humans. Like, you know, it has that phallic shape that is easy to eat and seems like miraculously like the perfect food for like ape,
Here's the
right?
thing. I want you to look up the original wild version of any fruit or vegetable humans eat.
Yeah. God didn't make that
You will be
in a way that we eat.
You will be very confused that we ever ate that shit.
Yeah.
Corn is a grass.
God is dead and we have become God. Like that is what there is. Corn is a grass.
Corn is a grass.
Tomatoes didn't look like that.
Potatoes. They were like little. They were barely indistinguishable from the rest of the root.
And like a good chunk of them were actually deadly because they're related to nightshade and they have a small amount of nightshade in it.
Yeah.
And like some of them were way dead. Like you could accidentally, if you ate the little ones.
It's like eating the wrong mushroom now.
Yeah. If you ate the little ones that hadn't developed yet, like it was just full of fucking
now
nightshade.
that I think about it, the only living thing that we have in the modern world that we have not aggressively shaped to our desires are fungus.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done some, like we've made them produce more of the good stuff.
Right.
But even then, like, only marginally.
Yeah, like they're really hard to really like now I'm not saying that they can't be.
Right, but it's
not to offend any mycologists out there in the world, or particularly my mycology inclined friend that has hooked me up with enough to party for like 3 weekends.
Although by the same token, they also know that we're right.
Yeah.
Like
there's only so much.
Fungi are fucking wild.
Yeah. There's only so much you can do to breed them and like
I want you
select for traits.
I want you to understand that they're neither really plant nor animal.
Nor alive nor dead.
But they communicate with one another through mycelial networks underground that we can't see. Like, there's, not to get too woo about it, there is a non-zero chance they are trying to tell us something.
You're not wrong.
There's a non-zero chance they're trying to tell us something.
Are the poisonous ones just mad at us?
I think
is it like you weren't supposed to eat me, fucker? Like,
maybe they're trying to tell somebody else something.
Yeah, but there's like fungi are weird. Like mushrooms are fucking weird, and I don't mean just like the ones you eat. I mean like just the
fungus as a thing. Any fungus, slime molds are fucking wild.
Yeah, like My God, and they grow so fucking fast too. Like in the right conditions.
The fact that like the experience where they'll have like slime molds determine the best paths between 2 points.
Yeah.
And like I remember one where it was like, it like basically perfectly matched the Tokyo subway system.
Right.
Which is one of the most efficient subway systems on Earth. And it's like a fucking slime mold. It was just like, go here, then here, then here, then here. They just put a bunch of like food dots on a plate and
they're incredibly efficient and weird. And
it's wild.
Yeah. Like fucking craziness. We humans, though, we have aggressively shaped our environment.
Yeah.
So much so that, like, if you try to argue from nature, like that
doesn't exist.
Yeah. God didn't make this for us.
Everything now is human will.
Yeah. Like, the closest you have to
That's
that
why
argument,
you should worry about climate change.
Yeah. The closest you have to that argument, if you really wanted to get into it, is like that, the first, like, few thousand humans, right, probably did live in, like, a relative paradise. Like,
yeah.
Like, the area of Africa where we believe became us from, like, had a lot to eat, a lot of calorie content, like, and we didn't have to do as much scavenging, predation hunting, you know what I mean? Like, we had, like, it was easier to exist as a fucking dumb ape there.
Yeah.
Right? So that was as close to, like, fucking living from God's Garden of Eden as possible. Otherwise,
I think that's where all our stories about that came from, too. I think there's a lot of, like, I think we passed down a lot of stories through oral tradition that we forgot we've been passing down through oral tradition through thousands of generations.
And considering how fucking heavily inbred we are, maybe we do have a genetic memory somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, animals have, like, we find that animals have so much, like, fucking genetic knowledge inborn to them that somehow we humans, I don't know if we do or not.
It's weird that we think we're so separate from the rest of the natural world that we couldn't have that.
Right.
We do believe we are above and outside of the natural world when we are dumb, hairless apes.
Yep. And I think that
was one of our better tangents, I think.
Yeah, it was.
That was fun. I think that's a good place to leave off.
It's a really good
Especially
place.
since I'm pretty sure the camera's going to die soon.
All right. So remember to give us all of your money
so we can do this.
More quality content like this.
We are philosophical bastards and wise.
Our wisdom.
Ancient. And knowing.
I think that's just us. We're ancient now. I'm no longer young. I try to think of myself as young. I'm not anymore.
I got some joint pain that reminds me.
Oh, if you heard that.
We'll do this again next week, though. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo.
Woo. Give us all your money.
Yeah.